Hello, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug. What's going on, everybody? Well, thank you for watching the podcast today. I really appreciate that. Thank you for joining me. And you know how I like to always get my podcast started, always with a moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers. So, if you would, a moment of silence, please. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Alrighty, well, let's get started. Well, how's it going, everybody? Man, I guess today was Saturday, and Saturday's going good. I mean, a lot of things happening for me today. You know what? I went to this event earlier today, and it was a an event over at the San Antonio Public Library, Central Library, downtown San Antonio. And every so often, once a month, I believe it is, they have this thing called creative creative learning, and what it is, it's a hour and a half. It's like 2 hours of they have an open mic. They have some instruments, guitars, keyboards, that sort of thing, and it's open to the public. And you can go up there and you can sing a song. You can read a poem that you wrote. You can recite a story. You can play an instrument, play a song, whatever it is that you feel the urge to do, and you can get up there and do it in front of the audience. You know what I mean? And it's just random people go and folks there at the library. There's a lot of visitors at the library, and some of them join in the audience there to watch this event. And the very first time that I went, I didn't know what to expect, and it's weird because I've been going for a while now, but I can remember the first time that I went over there and saw it, and I just happened to be at the library that day and heard some music, so I went up there and checked it out. And then someone explained to me what was going on and how the whole thing works. And they asked me if I wanted to participate, and I was like, well, I saw somebody playing the guitar up there, so I was like, well, yeah, I guess I could. I don't know how to really do anything, but I'll just give it a shot. I'll you know just be creative and kind of get out of your comfort zone in a sense. You know what I mean? And so I did, and I went up there and remembered a few things on the guitar, and nobody knew. Nobody does. It's just like nobody knows that you don't know how to play. So when you're up there and then you just do a little riff of this or that, and then they're clapping for you, and they're like, yeah, you know what I mean? But the whole point is to get you out of your comfort zone and get you into doing something new. And it's the same thing in the road to recovery from any darkness that you're in. Whether for me personally, it was dealing with childhood traumatic experiences, dealing with PTSD, dealing with drug addiction, dealing with depression, dealing with anger, and those sort of things. All of those things, molded into one is the things that I was dealing with, and why I chose to live my life in a destructive pattern, mostly in the world of drugs addiction. And so, for me, to get out of your comfort zone of what you're used to is a big deal. You know what I mean? And I could remember, uh, being in that dark realm and being unhappy, obviously. Yeah, the feelings were masked temporarily through the things that I was doing, but nonetheless, I knew that I was, you know, harming myself, harming my soul, harming my body, harming myself physically and mentally and spiritually. And, you know, no matter how many times that I thought about not wanting to be there, my actions were totally different because most of the time my thoughts were always negative and my thoughts were always looking to get the next hit and looking for another excuse to stay mad, another excuse to stay depressed, another excuse to stay sad. And you know, it was it wasn't until, you know, I understood, until when once I understood that if anything needed to be changed in my life, that it was going to have to be me. I was going to have to change myself, but I was going to have to dig deep into my soul and fix whatever it is or address whatever it is that was burning in my soul, that was keeping me grounded into that darkness. Because, you know, for a long time I always told myself that, you know, I'm not sitting here getting high because I'm addicted. I'm getting high because I like it. I'm sitting here getting high because I want to, because I like getting high. But when I had to come to the reality and come to the truth to say, you know what? I'm not getting high because I like it. I'm getting high because I don't want to feel sad. I don't want to feel depressed. I don't want to feel rejected. I don't want to feel the ugly thoughts and the ugly feelings that I felt when I was a kid. And, you know, I didn't want to feel that feeling that I had when I missed my dad. When I missed a relationship that was never there. A relationship that I longed for but never got. You know what I mean? And it was those kind of things that kept me, you know, that kept me down in the darkness and the addiction and that was the stronghold for me that kept me down. Was all of those types of things. And until I really had to come to terms with myself and finally understand the fact that, you know, I needed to talk to God and tell God, God, I need the serenity. I need that serene. I need to be in that serene place so that I can accept the things that I can't change. So that I can know the difference between the things that I can and the things that I can't. So that I can get the wisdom from you to help me understand what part of those feelings, what part of those things internally that I need to give up to you, because nothing that I do is fixing it. Nothing that I do is helping it, because after all of the drugs, after all of the drinks, after all of the depression, after all of the anger, no matter what it was, after all of it, at the end of the day, it was still there. And I still felt the same way. And until I was able to come into that serene state of mind and soul and body and soul in line perfectly so that I can say, God, here, whenever he took that, and believe it or not, a good way of putting it is being in a room full of addicts and being there, and I can remember being in a meeting, just sitting there and feeling just so defeated but so rested. Like I was sitting in this chair just like, man, finally I can rest. I could feel the knots on my shoulders just kind of start easing down into the side of my shoulders and down my back, and just like going away. Like my body just came limp, where I was just so relaxed that I could finally rest. I could finally rest in this place that was so serene for me in that meeting, that I didn't have to worry about anything. I didn't have to worry about the person next to me to the right, the person next to me to the left, the person that was in front of me, the person that was behind me. I didn't have to worry about anything, because I knew that I was loved by anybody that was there, no matter who it was or no matter what I had. I didn't have to worry about anybody taking my stuff. I didn't have to worry about anybody rejecting me, getting after me, telling me that I didn't matter or anything. I just felt accepted. That's how it felt. I felt so serene that I felt accepted, that I felt like I could just fall straight back, and I knew that somebody was going to catch me. You know what I mean? I felt like I could, like if I fall asleep right here in this chair, that when I wake up, I'm going to wake up and there's going to be somebody to the left, somebody to the right, somebody behind me, somebody in front of me, who is still going to be there and who's still going to care. No matter how many times I walk out of that room, and then whenever I come back, it's going to be the same way. No matter how many times I screwed up, when I walk back into that room, it's going to be exactly the same feeling. The same feeling of serene, the same feeling of love, the same feeling of compassion, the same feeling of empathy, the empathetic feeling in the room. I mean, it's just beautiful. And, when I finally understood and understood the fact that I don't have to do it by myself, because that's what I felt. I felt that I was living my life on my terms. Like I had to do this and that and everything to keep my life where it was going. And when all I had to do was just give it up. You don't have to do all that work, my brother. All you got to do is let God do what He's got to do, and you take care of the things that you got control over. Like getting up in the morning, praying in the morning, meditating in the morning, getting ready and going to work in the morning, getting ready and helping somebody in the morning. All those kind of things, you got control over those things. Getting up in the morning and making sure that you have healthy boundaries throughout your day. Those are the things you have control over. And when you control those things in the way that you pray and meditate about them, I can guarantee you, God will take care of the rest. Your higher power will take care of the rest, and your life becomes a whole lot more better. You start living with more compassion, with more conviction, man. You start living with more want, with more drive, in living the way your higher power wants you to. And usually that means helping yourself first, and then helping as many people as you can by giving away what has helped you to get to where you are along the way. And that's one of the reasons that I do these video podcasts, because I want to share the things that have helped me along the way in my journey of recovery to get to where I'm at today. And if I could share that with somebody else so that they may need it, somebody may need to hear that story. My journey is a long journey. I got many years in this journey with many stories. And one of the stories that I share might be that story that person needs to hear, that you might need to be hearing that story today, so that it can motivate you to get to that next step in your recovery. Or if you're in the darkness, it might need to be the story you need to hear so that you can come to this side of the world in the realm of recovery and positivity, and not stay in that darkness, in that stronghold of darkness that you're in right there, because I'm here to tell you that there is a way. And, and for me personally, I've been through many adversities, but you know what? There has been my recovery community and my faith-based community, both of those two things intertwined into one. That is what's been keeping me sober and in recovery today. And I know for a fact that the minute that I let up on that, the minute that I stop doing that, the day that I decide, hey, you know what, I'm not going to do recovery and spirituality anymore. I'm not going to do that no more. Faith-based spirituality and my recovery, I'm done with it. I'm done with it today. I'm gonna live today for Joel. When I do that, the very first time I do that is the very first time, and the very first thing that's going to happen is I'm going to go back straight down to that road of addiction like I was before, and I know that. But I'm glad and humble and grateful that today I'm able to understand and have that courage to know and the wisdom to know the difference between where I need to be and how I need to do it. So, that's why I do these podcasts, because it's part of my therapy. It's part of my recovery. I don't only do it to help the person out there, the next person, the next addict, the next homeless guy, but I do it also to help myself, because this is part of my therapy also. That's why I do it, because it's a constant reminder of where I don't want to go, where I don't want to be, and how I want my life to move forward in a positive way, and it's part of the setting those healthy boundaries. But, I really appreciate you guys listening to my podcast today, you know what I mean? Because I can't, that's my whole reason to doing this is to reach as many people as I can and to help as many people as I can. And the only way that I can do that is if I have more people watching my podcast like you guys. So at this time, if you would, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, share my channel, subscribe to my channel. All you got to do is tap the button. It doesn't cost you a thing. Just know that when you tap that button, you'll be helping out another veteran, another homeless person, another addict, another person struggling with PTSDs, another person struggling with sadness, depression, anger, all of those things. This is a real deal. This is a real deal problems that we're dealing with here in this life of ours. We live in such a toxic world. Our environment is so toxic that, it's killing a lot of us out there. So it's a problem. It's a problem that there's a problem that there's so many people homeless and addicted to drugs in our communities. And we shouldn't have that. You know what I mean? We live in a country that, we shouldn't be having problems like that. We're having problems that third world country problems that are having. We shouldn't have third world country problems. You know what I mean? But somewhere along the way, society has decided to put blinders on. And if we don't see them from my house, from where we live, it doesn't matter. And that's the way society thinks nowadays. But I'm here to ask you, please, would your higher power think like that? My higher power, for me, that's God. My higher power, I believe in, is Jesus Christ. Now, with Jesus, look at those people and say, you know what? Sorry, I can't help you. I doubt not. He would stop and render aid. He would gather all those people and bring them along and say, come on, it's time. It's time to move on to the next step of your life. And that's to come over here into recovery and positivity and deal with the issues that are keeping you there. But know that you don't have to do it alone. I'm here to help you. Got a bunch of Jesus messengers, God messengers here that are going to be able to help you. Know that. people like myself who are compassionate and want to help people who have, who loves their human, neighbors, and I don't want to see anybody suffer. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? Because I've been there. I've been homeless. I've been, involved in drugs and homeless out in the streets and living in tents and under bridges and living in one motel to the next and, selling drugs to do drugs and, doing, things that I shouldn't have been doing. But by the grace of God, God chose me to get out of that. And I understand that He had chose me for a reason, so that's why I do these video podcasts, because I don't want to be over here in this world of recovery and positivity without giving away what has helped me along the way to get where I'm at today. So, I really truly believe that, and I'm passionate about helping somebody else, because I know people who are still there, and you can't save everybody, but you know what? You can pray for everybody. So I just encourage you guys to. I really encourage you guys to listen to more people, encouraging people to encourage people to help out, to listen to a podcast, to help somebody you see out in the street, whether it's giving them $1 or giving them a bottle of water, and letting them know, hey, you know what? Take a look at this podcast, The Recovery Plug. He can help you out. Listen to the message that they send, or listen to this other guy's podcast, or this girl, or whoever, whatever videos it is that out there, because a lot of people do things on their phone, and someone needs to hear the message. You know what I mean? And not everybody's going to be ready. But if you share the message, you may catch that person who's ready. You may catch it yourself. So I really appreciate you guys watching the podcast today. I didn't know really what I was going to talk about. I kind of was praying about it and seeing what it is that I wanted to say, or what it is I wanted to, what kind of message I wanted to get out there today. But I think it's just that. It's going back to that event that was at the library today, and getting out of your comfort zone, doing something different, because everybody wants to stay in their comfort zone. I know I did. When I was in my addiction, I didn't want to know anything or do anything except what I was doing. But I know now that in order for me to stay here in this world of positivity and recovery, I have to do new things, new and positive things to keep me here. Because the first minute that I stop doing those things is the first minute that I go back to my comfort zone. And that for me is using. So, that's why I do the podcast, because this is something that I'm not normally used to doing. And, it was hard for me to do them at first, because I was scared. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what people were going to think about me, or how I'm supposed to act in front of the camera, or any of that stuff. You know what I mean? So I didn't know what I was going to talk about, or if anybody was going to watch my videos, or if anybody would even subscribe to them, or anything like that. You know what I mean? So, for me, it's a big milestone that I'm doing something different and encouraging like that, because I would have never, ever thought in my wildest dreams that I would be doing something like that. But you know what? I like doing it. For me, I feel this passion about it when I'm doing it. I love getting ready to do a video podcast and thinking about what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it. And usually I just pray about it. I pray about it, I meditate about it, and then I just do it. And then whenever I'm done with it, I look at the video. I don't even really screen the videos. I just do it, and then I will just put it on. You know what I mean? I don't edit. I don't do none of that kind of crap. I just give you the raw feed of how an addict lives his life, and how an addict wants to help somebody else. That's exactly what I do. I always said that I would never give you anything that wasn't truthful or anything that wasn't going to be, something that I wasn't encouraged by, or things that I've done. So, I've been doing it that way, and it's working for me so far. I just, I can't do it without you guys. So if you would, give me that like, subscribe to my channel, and to leave me a comment, share my channel. But I really appreciate you guys, taking the time to listen into my video podcast today. I really, really appreciate it, and that's coming from here. So I guess until the next time, on When the Smoke Clears, I am the Recovery Plug.